Alright guys, welcome back. We have some big news here. It's been announced, just as I thought, Ace and Akainu are coming up. They are going to be dropping here according to the OPTC Reddit. Big shout out to them here. Great resource if you want to know pretty much everything that's going on with the game in terms of just questions, upcoming banners, units, etc. Big shout out there. It's starting on the 24th, so 2 days from now, and ends on July 6th. So it's only going to run, what, 2 weeks? And then part 2 starts on June 29th. It's to be noted that there is no part 3, despite there being a part 3 in Japan. Anyways, I've been saying to save for this banner. These are the guys you want to pull on. They're amazing. They're powerful. They boost 4 different classes by a 5 times multiplier. Just like flat out. There's nothing holding them back from doing that. There's no catch. No catch. And then the bash they come with is pretty good too. And as you can see here, we have Kaido and Big Mom on the right side, so they're going to be available on the banner, and they're obviously amazing as well. So if you're a new player, summon on this banner. Come to this banner and summon. You will not regret it. Even if you don't get the new unit, summon here. Or if you're new and you want to just reroll, this is the unit you want to reroll for. Ace and Akainu. That's how good they are. So definitely look forward to that. That's coming soon. Part 2 is going to have an identical structure, and the structure is really cool here. The first multi is going to be 30 gems. You know, we love those. This one is the one I like the least. Legend or rate boosted character on the 2nd, 6th, 10th, 14th, 18th, 22nd, and 26th. Then the more favorable legend is going to be guaranteed legend on the 3rd, 13th, 17th, 21st, 25th, 29th. And then my favorite, next to recommended, 1 gem, almost free multi. We have what, 7 free multi steps? Am I right? Is that correct? Yeah, that's a lot. So what is that, like 1100 something gems to get them guaranteed at 30? I mean, you really shouldn't go all the way to 30 for them, but I wouldn't blame you if you did. That's how good this legend is. But if, you know, spend what you can, spend it here, and then start saving up for the French anniversary would be my recommendation for sure. That's what I plan on doing. I mean, well, kind of. I'm going to be, spending some on every banner just so I have content for you guys and I can share my pulls with you guys besides that. We'll continue on here. A limited pool legend. I'm not sure how many legends are going to be in the pool. I think the Japan one had 10. And I'm pretty sure the max amount of legends on this banner were 25, as opposed to the usual 10 that we get these days. And those will be on steps 5, 15, 23, and 27. My favorite step is right here, a recommended character. It's going to be one of, usually it's anywhere between 4 to 5 units. It's going to be the units that you see when you go to recommended character right here. It'll most likely show like Ace and Akainu, Big Mom and Kaido, and like a couple other legends. Or it can technically have rare recruits as well, which kind of sucks. It could technically be Ace Akainu, the new Luffy, Aokiji, Jozu, and Sengoku. Hopefully not. We're going to have to wait and see what they actually will be. Oh, and the structure's here in the imager too. Yeah, so we have all the steps there. Though in this format it's easier to see. Super limited pool legend on the 9th and 19th legends as well. So I'd imagine they're going to condense that 10 legend pool to like 5. Or if I'm incorrect and it's a 25 legend pool, as it should be, then this limited legend pool is probably like 15 legends, and then super limited pool would be like 10 legends. I'm hoping it's less, but knowing Bandai, that wouldn't surprise me. And of course, big shout out to, on Reddit, The People's Dwarf, awesome name, for writing this in our Discord. Thank you, man, for the information, really appreciate that, dude. Let's see. Oh, excuse me. So yeah, that's going to be dropping in 2 days. Personally, now, if you... It depends on, like, how many gems you have saved, how much you can spend. Like, for me, personally, I only want to go up to number 11. Being that gives you... 11 being, the furthest you can go to get to the step of recommended character. Which, in my opinion, will yield the best results to get Ace and Akainu. Now, you can go further. You can go to 30 and get them guaranteed, but you'd have to spend around 1,140-something gems, something like that. I don't recommend that, but if you have the money, you could literally... There are worse units that you can go all the way in for and get. These guys are going to be very viable for a very long time. They are very strong. They cover 4 different classes. If you count the types in the game, not the types, but the colors in the game, which are Strength, Quick Dex, Psi, and Int, that's 5. And then you have the other 8 classes, and they cover 4 of that. So that's 1/4 of the game's classes on just one legend right here, which is insane. Highly, highly recommend it. But it just depends. If you're free to play, you know, and you have a lot of gems, I wouldn't recommend going anywhere past multi 11. Actually, multi 12. Sorry, multi 12 is a 1 gem. There's no reason not to do that. Maybe even multi 13 because you do get a guaranteed legend as well. What is multi 14? Yeah, legend or that's always garbage. If you have a budget, don't go past 13. Do your 13th multi and then just stop. But if you want to go all the way, I completely understand. You know, let me know what you guys think in the comments, like how far you plan on going. As for me, I'm probably going to try to stop. Note the try. Because I've been waiting for these guys ever since they were announced on JP. I'm going to try to stop after multi 13. That's kind of the goal. But real quickly, let's go over what they do. It would be nice if I could type. So let's go to the last page because these are in order of their release date. So they are a Strength and Quick type, with Ace being Strength, Akainu being Quick, which is kind of weird to see on him. Ace is a shooter and a free spirit. Akainu is a driven powerhouse. And these are the 4 classes that they boost. Free spirit's really crazy already, but driven, powerhouse, and shooter are going to be getting a massive power spike just through these guys being available alone. You know, here's their stats. You know, they have... Is that their attack without CC? Almost 1900. That's actually really crazy. Okay. So if you pick Ace, you're going to get attack of shooter and free spirit characters by 5 times. Their HP by 1.3, which is really nice, really beefy. And he makes Strength, Dex, and Quick Orbs beneficial for shooter and free spirits. That is just the spicy meatball on top right there. And restores special cooldown by 10 turns when they are rewinded. So this guy just negates rewinds, which is really nice. I personally am looking more forward to Akainu, just because he's a little bit more unique, but Ace is really good. So Akainu is going to go for the driven powerhouse characters. Same thing, 5 times, but his HP is a little bit different. He's going to boost them by 1.5 instead of 1.3. But instead of making beneficial orbs out of Strength, Dex, and Quick, he's just going to boost the chances of getting Quick orbs. And he inflicts enemies with burn for 4 turns that will ignore debuff protection after each turn you take damage. Now, I haven't played with him myself, but I know that this is broken, that this does a lot of damage, right? So let's see. So Ace, when you launch this special, 200 times characters attack and typeless damage to all enemies, changes all orbs into matching orbs, so he's an orb manipulator, and but he doesn't do block. He does not do block, which is to be noted. And amplifies the effect of orbs for shooter and free spirit characters by 3.25 for 2 turns. So if you're dealing with a revive mechanic, this is going to be really helpful. If your captain orb is Strength, which, you know, Aces will be once you use this special, he sets boundaries to 2.5 and 3.0 for 2 turns. So what that means, to my knowledge, is that he sets the chain multiplier to 2.5 right away. So it's like having a 2.5 chain lock, except it doesn't lock. It starts at 2.5 and it keeps growing. It'll go to 2.8, 3.1. You're going to be doing a lot of damage with this special. And then Akainu, he does 400 characters attack and typeless damage to all enemies, so double the damage of Ace, which is noticeable. He changes all orbs, including block orbs, into quick orbs, and he amplifies the effects of orbs for driven and powerhouse characters by 2.5 for 2 turns. So they're a little bit similar and a little different at the same time. He locks a chain multiplier for 1 turn, depending on how many quick orbs were used in your attacks before you activated this special. And if you go here, you'll see what the prerequisites are. If you only consumed up to 7, you get a 3 times chain lock. 8 to 14, it'll give you a 3.25. And 15 plus, which is really easy to get, you're going to get a 3.5 chain lock, which is currently the highest in the game. So you'll be getting orb manipulation, 400 times attack damage to everything. You're going to be getting a 2.5 orb boost for 2 turns, and then a chain lock. 3.5 chain lock for the most part for 1 turn. Just crazy. And okay, we haven't even gotten to their versus ability. They have another special. When the crew consumes or uses 12 strength, dex, or quick orbs. This will trigger. That's the condition to trigger the versus ability. Aces is he inflicts enemies with burn for 2 turns. He will boost attack against enemies inflicted by burn for 2 times for 2 turns, and then he changes block, bomb, TNT, RCB, G, orbs, and own orbs. So he takes care of the fact that his main special cannot get rid of block orbs. The versus special will take care of that. On top of that, if they can get hit with burn, that is a conditional boost right there, which is, you can see why these guys are insane. They do so much by themselves. Or manipulation, conditional, or boost, and then depending on which one you're using, you get a chain lock, or you get a further orb boost. Like, they do so much damage. And then Akainu, he inflicts enemies with burn for 4 turns, so he does it for 2 turns longer than Ace. He boosts attack against enemies inflicted by burn by 1.75 times for 4 turns. So not as strong as Ace's, but it does last longer. And he makes quick orbs beneficial for driven and powerhouse units for 4 turns, which is important because if you remember, he changes all orbs to quick. And you're going to be running powerhouse and driven units that are not quick, or units that even benefit from quick, right? Well, this will turn that on, will allow them to benefit from it, and they will get an orb boost from his special. So that's very good. And it lasts for 4 turns, so I mean, afterwards, they have a couple turns, even after you use the special, where they're benefiting off of quick orbs. So these guys are nuts. Akainu, in particular, is really good for Rumble. Let's see what he does. So he will give a level 3 defense up buff to quick characters. Really strong already. Right there, I already like him just for that. Level 5 attack up buff to quick characters, that's okay. For the first 20 seconds, he applies level 5 special up buff to self. And for the first 20 seconds, applies level 5 attack up buff to self. And then his special, let's take a look. He'll deal 2 times attack and damage to all enemies. Just all enemies in a large radial range. Deals 1.5 attack and damage to strength characters. So my assumption is he does this on top of the 2 times attack if they're strength characters. So, that's going to, like, Odin is very prevalent right now, right? He's a strength character. This is just going to dunk on Odin very, very hard. There aren't really a whole lot of strength characters that are kind of coming to mind right now. Like, you could, PvP Kaku, the limited rare recruit Kaku from the PvP banner comes to mind as well. For the first 40 seconds, also a 30% health cut to all. Oh my. How does that work? Does he, like, do this, and then after he does that damage, he does an HP cut? I honestly do not know, but I can tell you right now this guy is already insane, even without that HP cut. That just makes him bonkers. Wow. And then Ace, let's see what he does. So he's going to be used for strength units, obviously. Same as Akainu with the strength and the defense buff up. Really good there with the defense up. For the first 40 seconds, applies level 5 attack up buff to self. That's alright. And then his special applies level 7 attack up buff to self, which is okay. Deals 2 times his attack and damage to all enemies like Akainu in a large radial range. Very good. When HP is below 60%, he'll deals 2 times attack and damage to all enemies, which I do assume is on top of that. So he's actually pretty good too. I mean, strength could definitely use more support, and I can see this guy being used a lot in PvP. I will personally be trying him. I mean, if I do pull these guys, big if, I will be maxing them with Rumble Scrolls as soon as I can, and we'll give you guys kind of like a couple of showcases of them. Some with Ace, some with Akainu, etc. And then moving on, let's just look at the batch real quickly, since we're going to be seeing a lot of these guys. Let's see. The new Luffy is right here. This is Evolved State. His special is he changes orbs, top and bottom rows, into matching orbs. He locks all of them, which is really nice for 1 turn. Reduces paralysis and silence, aka special bind, by 5 turns, and he adds 0.8 to chain multiplier for 2 turns. Very nice. I like the utility. I like that he adds a little bit of damage with the chain multiplier right there, and that he locks and gives you 4 matching orbs. Very good. Definitely one of my favorite from the batches. One of my favorites from the batch. Alright, so the second out of the 4 new rare recruits will be Jozu. Big fan of his evolved art here, looking really menacing. Let's let it load so you guys can see. Yeah, really cool stuff there. That's stuff you're going to see in your nightmares. He has 2 stages, but on his final stage, he reduces special cooldown of fighter and powerhouse characters by 2 turns, really good. And reduces despair and attack down duration by 5 turns. two very prevalent debuffs, as everybody knows. So 5 turns of reduction on that is good, and then reduces damage received by 90% for 1 turn. So a little bit of defensive utility there as well. I'm a big fan of this guy. Does he get rid of? Does he reverse special cooldown on himself? These are potential abilities. Limit break. Yeah. Restore its own special cooldown by 3 turns when it is rewinded. Very good. Okay. And let's see. And he has like a special support ability. Once per adventure, when an enemy inflicts you with attack down, reduces attack down duration by 2 turns. That's nice. You can put that on Ace, or you can put it on Whitebeard. Very nice to note that. Actually, it looks like he has level 2 defense up to strength in PvP, and 5 HP up buff to strength. That's really good. What does this special do? 2 times attack and damage to one enemy. That's kind of garbage. Applies level 2 defense up buff to strength characters within seconds. That's really good. Restores 1000 fixed HP to self. That's different. That's new. So like a little bit of a self heal, but on a 31-second cooldown. I don't know how I feel about him in PvP. I'll have to try that out, but I don't know if you'll see a ton of play. But hey, correct me if I'm wrong, guys. So we have Aokiji. Let's see. Okay, so this is his unevolved form. I think his evolved name is Kuzan. So what he does is 3,000 fixed damage to one enemy that will ignore damage, negating abilities and barriers. And then he reduces enemies' increased defense and threshold damage reduction by 5 turns. Really good right there. 2 very annoying buffs that enemies tend to have. And on top of that, if your character is a shooter or free spirit, so obviously he's meant to go with the new Ace, he'll boost the attack of shooter and free spirit characters by 2 times for 2 turns, which is perfect. Helps you get around those revive stages. Like, what's a good example? Right now we're dealing with revive with the 7 Warlords event, right? With Mihawk's stage. When you beat him, he revives at full HP. More units that have this, like, 2 turns of having attack buffs are becoming, like, really, really nice to have just for that mechanic alone. He's really good, too. I personally think this guy's the weakest of the batch, but, I'm sure he's going to have some niche uses. Sengoku here. Reduces bind duration by 5 turns. That's okay. Reduces enemies' resilience. Not a lot of enemies are going to have that. But he does get rid of percent damage reduction, which is pretty prevalent, by 5 turns. And then adds 80 times character's attack as additional typeless damage for 2 turns. That's not that great. It's alright. I think he's definitely the weakest of the batch, but he's not horrible by any means of the imagination. Let's see. Oh, he has a support ability here. For Akainu, Aokiji, and Kizaru, once per adventure when the supported character uses a damage dealing or health cutting special, which the new Akainu will do, reduces enemies' resilience and percent damage reduction. That's actually pretty good. By 2 turns. Yeah, so his special isn't amazing, but I really like his support ability. So that is to be noted, for sure. But either way, guys, like I said, this is definitely, in my opinion, just the banner to go all out in. And then after that, just save up for French Anniversary, which I believe is in, what, August? I think it's like early-ish August. So I think it's the 1st or 2nd week of August. But yeah, if you guys have any further questions, just let me know down in the comments below. I will be doing pulls on this banner. I'm going to showcase that. Be it me getting shafted and not getting them, or be it that, maybe I'll get them and, we can do some showcases with them afterwards. That'd be really cool. But anyways, guys, I just wanted to share that information with you. It just came out about 40 minutes ago, so I wanted to share that with you so you guys can look forward to that over the next couple of days. But anyways, that's all for me for now, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. See you next time.